It's recording.
Okay, 1 minute.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yes, you can go ahead and begin.
Okay. Well, it's nice to meet you. I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Alex Morgan. I'm from the Bay City area. I have been married for 18 years. I have 3 kids. I have been working with Algorithm USA for the last year, but I do have over 20 years experience with sales and experience in sales management. It's nice to meet you. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Of course. Hey Morgan. So it's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Luis Martinez. I am from Mexico. I run the Mexico branch at Algorithm Información. Have 3 kids, married, and I'm a big soccer fan. And I really look forward to our conversation today. I want to thank you for taking the time to fly over here and get a tour of our facility.
Yeah, looking forward to working with you. So I just wanted to fly down here, one, to meet you. But I also have noticed that the sales for the first 4 months of operation were really good. But they've since declined, which I'm sure has a little bit to do with the decline in the peso. Um, but my goal is to just help you increase sales for future months and then reduce cost expenses where applicable. I noticed there's been some cost increases in Guadalajara site. So I just wanted to discuss those options with you and go from there.
Of course.
Can you tell me a little bit about how your company is structured in Mexico with your employees?
Yes, of course. So as you know, we've recently faced some challenges due to the devaluation of the Mexican peso. Recently, the price of our CDs have increased dramatically for our Mexican customers, making our products a little bit less as affordable very much less affordable for Mexican customers. So this has had a significant impact in our sales volume. And despite our best effort to address the challenge, it has been very unsuccessful. Well, it hasn't been very successful. I'd like to discuss this option, but in regards to how we are currently running our operations here. So I do want to address first, we do have Jose Miguel, who is my brother. He's a valued part of our team. So he has given up his recent role to help contribute to the location, to the job here at Information or Algorithm Información. And we also do have a receptionist who helps handle the operations material so that our sales staff can focus on bringing in and closing deals. I manage all the main operations here. I generate the leads and assign them to all of our sales agents. And as you may have noticed, we do have a pool-based commission system here. Which has worked really well in Mexico because it aligns with everyone's incentives and allows everyone to gain income from a more collaborative approach rather than from a competitive point of view. So I hope this gives you a little bit more perspective about how we run the office here, but feel free to ask any questions that you may have before we go into the items we would like to discuss.
Yeah, how many people do you have on your sales team?
We currently have 3.
Okay. Could you benefit from having any more?
So at the moment, I may I ask what the reason is, the main reason behind your approach to us hiring more sales people?
Yes, if I can find my mute button. I would like to hire additional staff just to help increase sales. I think the Mexico operation would still be under budget by the year end if you hired 3 more salespeople. I think this would be an expense that we could justify as it'll bring in more revenue.
Okay, it's understandable. I did anticipate that this would be one of your concerns that you wanted to address, which ties back to the challenges that I mentioned earlier for us being able to make our sales. So quickly want to go over that, if that's okay with you. So based on my findings, and I've had quite a lot of experience with the Mexican market, based on my findings, the primary, I think, in order for us to make good decisions on how we can improve the revenue, I think the main thing we should start at is looking at the root of the problem. And this is something that I've had a chance to dive deeply into. And based on what I found, the challenge here is that because of the devaluation of the Mexican peso, the cost of a CD has gone from $300 to $900, which while the US price has not changed. So as you can understand, it makes it very challenging for our Mexican market to afford a product that is now triple the price, but yet has not changed in price with the US dollar. So I do think that this has had a significant impact in our sales volume. And to address this challenge, I wanted to discuss the possibility of increasing our maximum authorized discount per list price rather than adding more to our sales team. Because the issue is not that our sales team isn't able to cover more leads, but that they're not getting enough lead because of the price of their current CDs in Mexico being tripled.
Okay, so I can authorize a 15% discount to help generate new customers. But I would like to limit that discount. I'd like to only limit it to new customers and for a limited time and see if that helps to generate more sales. And then we can go from there. Would you be open to that?
Though I do appreciate you meeting or being willing to increase the current discount. However, the current rate that we are giving our customers in 10% is 10%. So I don't believe that a 15% or 5% change from the original discount would have much of an effect on the price of the item being tripled. Would you be willing to consider a discount of 30%? Basically just trying to find a middle ground between the tripling price of the Mexican peso or of the CD in Mexican peso versus the price that they would pay with the discount.
Okay, so 30% is more than corporate is willing to give. Would you be able to settle for 20?
20%. Yeah, I think our team would be willing to give 20% a try.
Okay. And hopefully that'll help bring in some more revenue.
Mhm.
I would also like to address some of the cost expenses. We can start with the Mexico City site. So you mentioned your brother has joined the corporate office in Mexico City.
Mhm.
I would really like for him to be commission based. Is there any way we could do that? I think you mentioned he had some previous sales experience. Is that something you would be open to as well?
What by being commission based, are you implying that he will be included in the commission pool structure for the team?
Yes, and then he would be helping to generate some more sales as well, since it sounds like we are not open to adding additional staff.
Yeah, well, the responsibility that that Jose plays in the organization is to take away the day-to-day operations task so that the salespeople can focus on generating and closing deals. So if we were to make him a salesperson, then that would remove the point of having him alleviate some of those stressors so that the salespeople can focus on closing the deals.
Okay, so what is his primary responsibilities that he's helping to alleviate some of the pressures from the other team members?
Jose handles primarily administrative work. So data entry, he handles a lot of the paperwork, the filing work for the team so that the salespeople can focus more on that one-on-one relationship with each customer. I can understand how having him maybe paid full-time can be impacting the financial revenue. So I do want to propose it. Would you be willing to have him be part-time, handling operations part-time rather than full-time?
I am open to that just because you already have an administrator at the Mexico City site. And I'm not totally opposed to having him there. I would just prefer for it to be commission based. That way it's based on his own sales volume, rather than part-time or full-time salary where it's not contributing to the group like the sales team would be. Do you prefer part-time over the commission-based?
Well, because of our current structure, um, the pool commission base is split evenly. So I'm afraid that if we were to make him fully commissioned, it would take away from the take-home pay from the other salespeople. So I think it would be more beneficial to have him part-time employee that is on his own payroll rather than including him into the sales commission pool, because ultimately, if we did that, ultimately we would cut the pay, or we would cut the take-home pay of all the sales associates if we were to include him without him doing without him closing deals, because
Yeah.
he's not a sales agent, he handles the administrative work.
I get where you're going with that. Okay, well, maybe we can come back to his position in a minute and talk about the commission pool instead. I would really love for the sales commission to be based on the sales team members' own sales volume. That'll help incentivize team members and then motivate employees who maybe are struggling a little bit. I do know that 9% of the commission is going towards fun. I didn't write that part down. 9% of the pool is going towards like the president and vice president, and then 5% is going towards the receptionist and finance person. So that equals, I think, 14%. Would you be open to dividing up the rest of the commission pool to the whole sales team and then dividing it up based on how well they're performing? So if they perform at the top of the sales team, they're getting more versus the person that's bringing in less revenue, maybe? I think you're on mute.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Would you be willing, well, actually, I think that would be, that's something we can work towards. So would
Okay.
it be the top person? So the commission would be,
You're still dealing with the same pool. It's just the person who's performing better gets more of the pool versus the person who's performing at a lesser value. So everybody's
So
still getting commissions. It's just the better you do, the more revenue you get.
I think that's something that could be achieved.
Okay.
Yeah, but if the team brings in more revenue, that still increases their take home, correct?
Yes.
I think that's something.
Okay. So I guess back to your brother then. So if we're doing the commission pool based on how well you're performing, would you be open to having him be commission based then? That
If
way, he's still he's contributing to the team, but if he's doing well, he's not taking away from anyone else's revenue. If they're doing well, then they'll still get the amount of money that they should be due.
Okay. So, all right, in regards to my brother, so in joining the team, I do want to highlight that he did contribute his own funds into the joint venture and so he has contributed to the success within that, to the success of the team. And I want him to have the opportunity to, at the very least, make back the money that he did contribute into the joint venture. So is that something you'd be willing to consider prior to having him go into commission based? Because if he is working based on the commission, then that's relying on how the team is performing overall, which isn't a problem. However, if the team is down, that doesn't change the fact that he still completed all the administrative work throughout the quarter. And I would hate for him to not be rewarded for the work that he did for the company.
Okay, do you know how much he contributed?
Some reason it does not highlight. Let's say that he brought in money, but it doesn't highlight how much.
Okay, um, since it doesn't say how much he brought in, would you be open to doing a contract then for him? So switching him over to a commission based and then setting up a contract to ensure he receives his full payment within say 2 years. That way he's still generating money, contributing to the team, and he'll still get his initial investment back.
Yeah, I think that's something we can work on.
Okay, let me just make a note of that. His investment should be returned within 2 years. Okay, my last item that I had for the Mexico City site, was related more to expenses rather than revenue. I would really be interested in, sorry, I lost my note. Let me go back over here. Oh, I also wanted to talk about your receptionist and one of the trainers, if it would be possible to eliminate those or if they're absolutely necessary to the operations. Again, just trying to reduce expenses so we can have our best results for the year.
Um, I really think that, so addressing the receptionist, you mentioned the receptionist and who else?
Possibly eliminating one of the trainers. I think you have multiple. And I would just like to reduce one of them.
Okay. And this is, you're referring to the people who train the customers.
Yes. For, how to use the CDs.
Right. Let's see.
And my reasoning for that would just be for the receptionist, offices in the US don't of this size, the size of the office in Mexico don't have receptionists. And I feel that the sales staff that are in the office for the day can handle calls directly. So that's my reasoning for the reception, eliminating the receptionist position. And then in terms of eliminating the trainer, I feel that the training levels are down by half of what they were last year. Just
Mhm.
as customers get more comfortable using the CDs, they're less reliant on the trainers. So that would be my reasoning for removing one of those positions.
Okay, so really quickly, I do want to quickly cover what the receptionist brings into the organization. And just to give you a different perspective, and if you'd still like, we can go back into reviewing her position. So the receptionist is a really important member of our staff. Uh, she screens all the calls and helps with the office administrations, which saves the salespeople a lot of time. And here in Mexico, the receptionist also kind of adds that air of professionalism in the office, which gives a really good impression to the clients when they come and visit our office. So although that isn't a common thing in the US, I do think that it plays a really positive role here in Mexico. Would you be possibly willing to have the reception remain part-time?
I would be open to that.
Okay. That. And in regards to the trainers, we have 2 dedicated training people. And I do want to highlight that the training people do contribute into our revenue. There is currently no one in Mexico that offers training for their CD services along with their CD purchases, and the training doesn't come free. It does come at a cost, which contributes to the overall profit of the organization. So although I do see your point in cutting costs, I do believe that cutting the trainer would reduce the revenue overall rather than actually saving money for the organization.
Would you be interested in moving both trainers to part-time?
Yeah, I think what we could do, would you be willing to have them part-time, but as sales increase, maybe have them come in on a contract basis until the sales go down so that we are able to capitalize on some of those customers that are making new purchases and seeing if they'd be willing to purchase training as well?
Yes, I'm okay with that. So if we reduce both of the trainers to part-time, in my opinion, that's equivalent to one full-time salary, which is reducing
Or,
costs.
yeah.
And then if sales volumes increase, then yes, we can contractually uh bring them up to full-time and fluctuate that timing. I'm okay with that.
Mhm.
I think that is a good solution. Let me just make a note of that. Okay. The last item I wanted to discuss was the Guadalajara site. We've increased costs at the Guadalajara site. And I've noticed 2 of the employees were temporary. Can you just tell me a little bit about the staffing issues you've had down there?
Sure. One moment. So at the Guadalajara sites, we have the supervisor, which is Carlos and several line employees. So the structure that we have here is that the Mexico City location handles all the sales and the training, and the Guadalajara location handles the packaging and train the packaging into Spanish instructions and the South American packaging and shipment. Guess I'm trying to figure out what if you could give me more details on what exactly about the structure of their team you would like to know. Are you asking why there were two employees that?
Yeah, I just noticed two of the employees were temporary. I was hoping we could eliminate those positions to help reduce some of the costs down there. Are they 100% necessary?
um, hmm. I think that we'd be okay with reducing the two temporary employees.
Okay, great. I would also like to implement an absentee policy down there. Would you be interested in doing that? I think that's a common manufacturing process in the US. It just after 4 unexcused absences or notices that they were going to be out, then that would be cause to let them go.
Um, will these absences not be based on the circumstances, or would it just be regardless of the situation, they would be let go despite it possibly being some hardships?
If it was in a like a pre-approved time off, if they just miss work without like pre-approval, then that would be considered an absent missed
How
day.
many?
Up to 4. So if they show up to work 4 times without prior notice, um, then that would be cause to let them go.
Or if they don't show up. I'd be willing to consider that. However, I really think it's important that we take into account the possible circumstances that could have caused them to be absent. If they have an excuse, could it have been a child issue, transportation? As you know, here transportation is a huge problem in Mexico. Or it could have been healthcare. I really do think we really value teamwork here and we treat each other like family. So having a positive culture and a positive reputation plays a huge role into the success of our office here. So if we had a reputation of letting employees go regardless of what their reasoning, I think it would be very detrimental to the office in Mexico.
Okay. Hey, just really quick. Apparently, we only have 10 minutes of recording time left. So I just wanted to call that out. This is my last item anyways. Um, okay, back to the absentee policy. I do think 4 unexcused absences is fair. However, I would be willing to add back one of the temporary employees to help out in the event that an employee was absent unexpectedly, we would have extra help.
Okay,
Um,
so
so
the
that would
the
reduce your employee count to 6, so just one less person.
okay, so bring back one temp employee if we accept the 4-day absentee policy.
Yes.
I can understand how this could benefit the team internally. However, I do really strongly feel that the the way the structure of which we treat our employees will play a very critical role into our culture. I really, really would love it if we could consider finding out or maybe applying a policy that at least tries to find out what the reasoning behind the missed absences are prior to firing the employee.
So you mentioned transportation issues in Guatemala or
Mhm,
Guadalajara. Um,
mhm.
is that contributing to the absences?
I think that the transportation issues can contribute. However, we can't always determine what the main problem is. I think that maybe if we implemented possibly some type of coverage for their transportation, it could be reduced. But
Like an allowance?
yeah, some type of allowance could help reduce the number of absences that happen.
Um,
Um,
okay, well, if transportation issues are contributing to it, um, what if we enforced the absentee policy, but provided an allowance so that the employees can get to work, and that eliminates their biggest hurdle in contributing to the absence.
Yeah, I think that would really help.
Okay,
Yeah, I think that would really help and make them feel a little bit more secure as well.
okay, so we'll create and enforce the absentee policy. However, we'll provide an allowance for transportation, and then we're going to reduce the employee count to 6, which removes one of the temporary employees. Okay, well, that I think solves all of my main concerns. Do you have anything that you would like to discuss?
So we did discuss the discount, which um, helps a lot. I wanted to potentially discuss an increase in our advertising and promotional budget. Um, since we did reduce, I do think that us advertising our product here in Mexico would really contribute to us gaining more sales leads. So is that something that you would be willing to consider?
Um, I probably couldn't justify adding marketing materials without also adding additional salespeople, which I know you were concerned about.
Right. Because currently the issue is not necessarily that our sales volume or our sales team isn't able to handle the volume. The issue at hand is that we're not gaining enough leads. One, because of the price of the peso, the devaluation of the peso, um, and us not having our product not having much coverage here in Mexico.
What kind of marketing budget are you looking for?
I think let's see, would you be willing to consider um funding, I think billboard marketing or possible, yeah, I think billboard marketing is something that could possibly give us a little bit more visibility to customers, or commercial marketing, or so commercials that run for a short period of time for maybe um let's say for about a month or two at each quarter, maybe for a month beginning of each quarter, to try to give us a little bit of an edge.
Okay. Um, let's do this. I'll provide um a 3-month marketing budget, if you can agree to hire one additional salesperson. Is that a
Okay.
good compromise?
Yes, I think that's fair.
Okay. And then I won't limit you to where you'd like to sell. So if you'd like to do TV advertisements or billboards, you can use that to your discretion.
Okay.
Okay, great. Well, it was very nice to meet you,
Likewise.
and I will keep in touch.
Of course. Thank you so much,
No
Miss Moore.
problem. Hey, I think we still have 2 minutes left. Do you just want to go ahead and give me feedback for my contract form and I'll give you feedback?
Sure. Wait, did you want me? I've been typing it up and sending it because you usually have to type it anyways.
Oh,
Are you?
perfect. Yeah, we can
Yes,
just do
I
that.
can type it up tonight, and send it to you.
Okay, perfect.
Let's see. I'm looking at the contract here. I can just, do you have an idea? So because for us, for this negotiation, it's not a sale type of agreement. It's not a number. Are you planning on just adding each agreement that we have as the terms?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
It's not, yeah, you're right. It's not a sales number. So I think I'll just do, I had like 5 goals that I was supposed to meet, and I think, I'll just list those out as the, like,
Okay. I have, okay, 20% discount on the CD. The receptionist will remain part-time. The trainers will be part-time and we'll bring them in on a contractual, full-time on a contractual basis should the sales volume increase.
mhm,
1 temp employee is getting released. They are getting a transportation allowance.
mhm.
4 days absence policy is being enforced.
Yes. And then the brother will be moved, to a commission, and his investment will be returned within 2 years.
Yep. And then the last one is the marketing, 3-month marketing budget if we hire 1 more sales rep.
Yes.
Okay, I think I have everything.
Okay, I'll send you what I have tonight too, and we can compare.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you. It
you.
was nice working with you. You were very prepared.
Thank you. You were too. It was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.